There is a creator that normally does not, he keeps to himself. Normally doesn't say very much. Normally doesn't say very much, guys. But you know, when Zethian is giving feedback, something's wrong. I ain't never seen Zethian write out, how long is this Word document? 11-page single-spaced Word document. Dude's got a wife and kids, man. He doesn't give a about BDO. He plays it. He has a good time with it. I don't typically really see him complain too much. Comment here or there, sure, but like nothing crazy. But when someone like Zethian, as like mature and as soft-spoken as Zethian speaks out about what's wrong with PvP, I do sincerely think that people should listen. So we're gonna read this. Zethian just rambles. People like Divios and Roots have much more weight in what they say since they're so invested in it. Roots doesn't really say very much. Roots is he keeps to himself. He does what's best for Cho, and that's it. If you've ever interacted with Roots, you know. Not like you see Roots going public with stuff. Divios, it's much more public. He shares his feedback much more frequently. And yeah, he earns a lot of respect and good faith from the BDO community. But Zethian should too. You understand that Zethian's perspective, Zethian has been in the strongest guild in the world, or at least in North America, for years. But also got up and basically streamed PvE content for all those years. Zethian, although he was in the strongest PvP guild in the world, never really made an effort to talk about or do PvP content on stream. And so he's very a PvE oriented like streamer when you talk about content creation. Okay. But like he's been in a PvP guild all with Divios all these years. I used to see him in Siege every week. My view in Black Desert and how it could improve. Didn't even bother to center it. Couldn't be. That's how you know it's authentic Zethian content. It's not bolded. It's not underlined. It's not centered. I'd fail my student on the spot. Like, what the are you doing? Written by Zethian on August 20th, 2024. Okay. You guys want a link? Here. Mods, can you pin this? There you go. Lately, there's been a lot in Doom and Gloom and Black Desert. There's a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon because it feels so popular to hate on it right now. This is true. This is absolutely true. I'm trying to stay as positive as I can, guys. I felt like I gave the Global Labs a fair shake. I don't know what you guys think. I felt like I gave the G Lab a fair shake. And like when they do good things, I reward it with praise. And when they do bad things, you know. But like, yeah, I'm definitely in that camp here. Or at least I was. I was starting to feel this myself. Every year we have two balls, the Heidel ball in the middle of the year and the Calpheon ball at the end of the year. Although I don't think it's been publicly stated, my experience has been with the Calpheon ball, or has been that the Calpheon ball is the primary announcements for how Pearl Abyss will be changing for the following year, and the Heidel ball is more of a progress report with some minor announcements. That is 100% correct. Yes. Yeah. So with this in mind, I was wondering if the Doom and Gloom was justified. I remembered Black Desert in 2023 that the majority of the community was excited about the Calpheon ball and what was announced for 2024. So what changed? Did they fail to meet their own expectation? I honestly couldn't remember everything they announced, so I went back and watched the ball. Oh, I even linked it here. Well, honestly, what does he list it out? Oh, he lists it for us. I was gonna go look it up because on Reddit they list it all out. While watching the ball, I started listing everything that they haven't delivered yet. Announcement after announcement, I noticed that they delivered most of what they have announced. So I started listing the things that they haven't delivered yet and realized that this is a relatively small list. I wish I took the time to list everything they had delivered so I could include it in this document. But if you're interested, I posted the link above for you to go see. Well, here. 2023 Calpheon ball Reddit. Boom. There it is. Okay, let's. Oh my god. Okay, all right. We're very quickly. Improved magnet, so you only teleport once. Sure, we have that. Improved convenience of the Black Shrine. Sure, we have that. Simplifying enhancement materials. Sure. Enhance the quality of the Ulukita and add an Elvia Valencia. There is no Elvia Valencia, but there's Decia. Altar of Blood and Black Shrine will be remastered. LOL. Nope. Don't have that. Guild missions and bosses will be improved. Lots of guild improvements in general. Nope. Don't have any of the guild improvements. The guild bosses were improved. They have guild, like the rewards were improved, so I'll give them that. Guild missions were not changed. They're still dog shit. There have been a couple minor guild mission changes. Still garbage. Okay. A lot of guild improvements. No, there haven't been. Just being honest. Quest allows you to search for quests. Wait, fucking what? Allow you to search for quests. A separate system that's important for quests like Jatina. Nope. No, we don't have that. No, that's not in the game. Travel, Magnus. Yeah, we got the Magnus change, sure. Boss Rush Travel, Black Shrine. Interaction and improving like Black Shrine. It's a UI that shows the region and boss info so you can instantly access it from anywhere. Okay, sure. Desert Travel. Yeah, we got the waypoints. Yeah. Great Ocean will be changed to allow navigation with the compass. We have that. There's just minor quality of life changes though, guys. Horses. T9 horses are now default for adventurers. Yep, sure. Item unification and simplification. Unifying black zones. Yeah. Primary materials. Types of meat. Sure, all that's merged. Yep, we got that. Removing seed grades. That? No, they didn't remove seed grades. No, they didn't do that, as far as I'm aware. Party elixirs will be consolidated. We got that. Simplifying crystals. We got that. Quest items will be auto-removed after the quests are completed. For keepsake quest items, yeah, okay, we got that. Event seals will be transferred to a separate UI. We got that. Plan to consolidate, remove items like useless tools, accessories. Sure. They got rid of like the old life skilling tools. Okay. Life skills will have a family basis instead of per character. We got that. New inventory assembling items. Sure. Content. Okay. Planning to adjust monster zones so that you have more gear. You are more rewarded.
Surfer just resubscribed for 3 months.
That's really vague. That's really, really vague and unhelpful. So I'm not going to let them have that, nor am I going to take it from them. I'm going to say net neutral. We don't really have it, but we also don't really not have it. Ulukita was that. But like, do you feel more rewarded at City of the Dead though? Because you have a lot of gears at the end? Be honest with yourself. Like, like that's Tungrad Ruins. Okay, sure, you know, right? Like, but City of the Dead's a little rough. They hard capped Elvia, the exact opposite. Well, going to adjust the damage shock cap to places like Gaifen to make expected earnings higher for higher geared players. They did that. Planning to update the Ulukita monster zones to be more fun, adding new mechanics and improve its status over the high-end monster zone. So they did that for at the Dark Seekers, and no one knows how it works now. And as far as I'm aware, no one grinds there. So they did this, but it was kind of an L. Pila, Hystria, Sulfur will be added as Decia. Sure, they did that. Scroll bosses are being removed. Scrolls will be sellable. They did this. Editing 8, 9, 10 Calamity bosses. They'll have easy, medium, hard difficulty. This never happened. And as far as we're aware, it's been radio silent. This would be considered new content. We do not have it. This is all quality of life shit, guys. Quality of life, quality of life, quality of life, quality of life. Okay. This would have been like an upgrade to what we had before, and we didn't get it. Okay. There will be nice reward like colors, titles for beating high calamity. LOL. How about Guild Leaguer as a title? Just off the top of my head. I kid. Altar of Blood will be remastered. Out of here, bro. General trading will be removed. They delivered on that. W. Yeah, just remove the life skill. There it is. Gear loadouts are being added. LOL. Yeah. So the two really big things that they talked about for like 40 minutes. Not here. Enhancing, changing when you fail, you get crons plus 1 fail stack. We got that. We got that. Guilds. Adding guild titles for obtaining certain objectives. Like Guild Leaguer. Wait, they delivered. If you have a lot of high-level sailors, you can... Never mind. Never mind. If you have a lot of high-level sailors, you can get a sailing title, kind of like an objective for your name, or if members have a lot of treasure, for example. That never happened. We will be adding guild hashtags so people can search for them in the guild page. Nope. Guild alerts. Guild officers will be able to notify players upon login. Nope. Guild missions are outdated. Yes, they are. You still haven't updated. Nope. Guild boss summon scrolls will be removed. We did get this. We did get this. Guild skills will be improved to have longer duration. We got this. We got this. You can also rent pen gear from boss members. Nope. Guild wage will go from 5 mil to 100 mil max. I think we did get this. Did we get this? Wait, no, I don't think we did. I think they promised it and then we never got it. I think my max guild pay is still 5 mil. Yeah. Yeah, wait, what the f? Wait, they never gave us that. Wait, I'm still getting paid like pennies, man. Still poor. Guild history, like time spent in guilds or things that players have achieved while in guild, will no longer disappear. LOL. No, they're talking about this tab right here, guys, which has been cooked since the beginning of the game. Absolutely cooked. You can set up one player manners as guild manners. You can teleport instantly to the guild manor, and you can use it your shared cooking and alchemy tools. Nope. And again, this is the new content, right? Like, this is supposed to be new. Right? The guild skills, like, okay, it's like an update to what we had before, but like, it's just like the new stuff didn't get that. Guild League PvP content. We did get the Guild League. We did get Guild League, and it was really good, and then they took it away from us. And then by the time they gave it back again, there were no guilds left. Node Wars. Planning to shake up Node Wars. Node Wars has these problems. Time and prep is vast. Snipe wars. One-sided fight. And difficult to join as a solo guild. Not anymore, guys. You don't have to time and prep if you don't go to Node War. True. Snipe wars. We have never, ever encouraged snipe wars in the history of the game. One-sided fights. I would consider every fight that Assembled has ever been a part of a one-sided fight. That's what my knee pads are for. Okay. Like, I mean, in fairness, I would consider it not one-sided if you consider a blowjob also not one-sided, because that's basically what's happened. So, you know, I'll hand them that. Difficult to join as a solo guild. Well, not anymore. Nothing but bangers. Fix 30 minutes before Node Wars, you select a territory. Oh, God. So, like, this is miserable. The rewards were the good aspect of the system. Everything else is cooked. This is what people are upset about. This is what people were starting to get upset about. This was like the start of the problems. Giving more rewards for owning nodes, sure. Siege, working to balance the scales for defenders. Yeah. Yeah. So they did do that. You can't fly in now and you can't spawn at the gate anymore. Completely killed like Castle Siege. Defenders try to play for time and get rewards, and the territory is given to the person who kills the castle fort. No further fight happens after you kill the castle. This never happened. This never happened. 8 HP scales on the number of siege guilds hitting you. I don't think that that's a thing yet. I don't think that they changed that. Did they? I don't think that the gate HP changes based on how many guilds are sieging you. New guild mount for castle holders. A dragon. Nope, never happened. Quest can be searched. Nope. Quest from Jatina, a new UI. We got that for the Jatina pen accessory, sure. Going to give one untradeable Tet Blackstar, sure. Increasing starting energy 30 to 50, they did that. Sellable Carracks we never got. Forest Path Wagon price increased. I don't even know if that happened. No, it didn't. Okay. Remastering Serendia quests. We got that. We got it. We got him, boys. The Jordine Saga, boys. Land of the Morning Light Soul. Fallen God weapons confirmed. New class, Sword in a Smoking Pipe. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, right, yep. Yeah. So, I would say they delivered on about half the stuff. Guys, what do you think? 50-50? I would say that was about a 50-50 split on what they delivered versus what they didn't deliver. 20%? No, I'd be a little bit more generous. 60-40? Okay, so the fact that everybody's kind of all 40-60, 60-40. Yeah, I'm going to say 50-50. Here's what's left. Altar of Blood rework co-op. Now back to the dock here. So they don't have Altar of Blood. Ataraxia quick travel. All-in-one guild, all-in-one presets, guild titles, guild mission. That's not true. We're going to get Guild Leaguer. Actually. Although he made it on the 20th. The Jiva patch wouldn't have been out yet. Guild mission changes. Guild manners, Conquest Siege changes. Quest search feature, Land of the Morning Light Part 2, Sovereign Weapon. Okay, yeah. But like, there's still more that they haven't delivered. I just went through it all. But like, you know. Boss Rush 8, 9, and 10. True. Also true. I admit I skimmed through the video pretty quickly, so I may have missed something. No big deal. That was announced. That's why I went through it in detail. But considering what has been delivered, this is a pretty small list. In fact, there's still 3.5 months left, which seems like a very reasonable amount of time to get the rest done. Especially considering that Land of the Morning Light is already being rolled out in Korea. It's just being translated for the other regions. Well, yeah, but we're comparing to the Heidel Ball. The Heidel Ball is like the update to the Calpheon Ball. You were talking about the Calpheon Ball in 2023. We just had the Heidel Ball. The Heidel Ball is supposed to take what they didn't deliver on the Calpheon Ball and give us a progress update, just like you said. And they didn't for a lot of it. Right? I think that's part of what's making people upset. In fact, there's still 3.5 months, especially considering Land of the Morning Light is already being rolled out in Korea. It's just being translated for the other regions. Yeah, that's not okay. They need to release it all. Like, worldwide releases is important. So if we were excited about the Calpheon Ball and PA is on track to deliver everything that's been announced, why are people dooming and glooming all of a sudden? If you take a look at the Steam charts, I know this isn't the full player base, but it gives us a baseline to consider when comparing over the years. Then we're following a similar trend we do every year. We have a spike when the new content is released. It slowly diminishes as people finish experiencing it. A few dips here and there as other games release, but typically once the Calpheon Ball rolls back around, we experience another uptick. Well, let's take a look at the Steam charts, right? Theoretically, we should be at where we were last year if you look at the 1-year projection. According to what Zethian said, we're right on track for our 1-year projection. 1 year ago today, we were sitting at 24,000 players. Today, we're at 15,000 players. Okay? All right, so we're 38% down. That's pretty rough. Close enough. That is not close enough. What are we talking about? What are we talking? That's not close enough. That's not even remotely close. Easy 50% margin for error. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so like this is, but we're not on track. On track would be something close like the low 20s, you know, like somewhere like 22, like right here. 22, anything above this line, this would be kind of on track. And this is the bump that Zethian's talking about. Zethian's not wrong. Normally we experience a bump for new content, and then it kind of slowly declines until we see the new content again, right? That's the bump for the new content, right? This is supposed to be a bump. Barely got up over the hump, and then it's just rapidly declining. And I'll be honest with you, we're down 16% in the last 30 days. Last 30 days. Okay? And guys, if you look at it, look how it's trending now. This is for August right now. This is the average for August, 15,167. Our current peak is at 14,170, so it's still declining. It's still going down. 13,006 we're playing 11 minutes ago. So it's still trending this way. And he's right. Steam charts are not it's an indicator for a baseline for how the game is doing. But like the doom and gloom, in my opinion, is warranted when you see something like this. This is not good. Some people who don't understand how to read graphs and charts think that this is the same. This is why Americans are idiots. Okay? Because they don't understand how to read a graph or a chart. Okay? Because they look at this and they're like, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. It's reasonable. Right? They don't understand. They don't understand how to look at it objectively and figure out what's missing. Right? Okay, let's take a look at this. Here's what I've concluded for the doom and gloom. First, right now, we are on a typical downward trend that we experience every year. True, but it's much steeper than before. But unlike other years, we aren't seeing much on the horizon. Yep. Yep. Spot on the money there. A couple announcements that seem in the distant future about Black Desert in the past and Castlevania Black Desert, but the Land of the Morning Light release in Korea feels more like a 1.5 patch, not a 2.0. Big true. When Land of the Morning Light 1 released, it released with boss splits and everything, and we all experience Land of the Morning Light every day now, don't we, guys? To be fair, if they didn't release the whole thing, but that's on them, not us. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they didn't release the whole thing. They shouldn't have released it without having the whole goddamn thing ready to go. That's true. Right? And they should have it ready for everyone. Should have been a global release. So while we're on this downward trend, it feels like we don't have anything in the immediate future to look forward to. There it is. There it is. And that's what I've been saying for weeks. Is like, guys, I don't see us pulling out of this downward trend unless we get something. We didn't even have a release date. Even looking at the content that Korea got that we didn't, we're like, that's still garbage. It's not enough, right? Like, that's pretty doom and gloom. But like, also, it wasn't wrong. Like, I will say that the Guild League, the Guild bosses coming out, global release, is a win. Should trend up a little bit, right? Should get a little bit of good faith. Second, it feels like there's some misdirection and some really low-hanging fruit that's being ignored with regards to PvP. True again, right on the money, Zethian. In fact, the vast majority of the doom and gloom have been PvP related. Yeah, until about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I would say the doom and gloom for PvP started about a month or two ago. Before the ball, even. Before the Heidel ball. And it kind of has gotten worse since then. But like the doom and gloom from everybody else has started ramping up in the last few weeks. And that's why it's suddenly looking like, oh my fucking God. You know what I mean? So here's where this document officially begins. Here's what my list of what I feel they should change to fix Black Desert. And before I go any further, I would like to note that all of these changes are mine. I'd like to consider this a community collaboration. Oh, that not all of these changes are mine. Whew, very important word. I apologize. I'd like to consider this a community collaboration that contains not only my own thoughts, feelings, and ideas, but also the good ideas of various members of the Black Desert community. Yep. That's why the UN podcast is designed the way that it is. It's because it shouldn't just be me trying to get feedback through to the Korean, like I try to bring everybody in so that the whole community can try to talk about it. That's a W. Alliances. What the... Whose idea was it to increase guild size by 50% one day? I remember the old Pepperidge Farm remembers the old Node Wars system was completely dead. Do you remember the last time they tried to fix Node Wars and they forced you to drop 100-man cap every single day? Every single day was a 100-man cap, all call for the guild. Every day. And it burned every guild out to a crisp. It burned them down to their cores. So they made alliances 150 man so that it would alleviate a little bit of the stress of having to come to Node War every day. If you have a pool of 150 players to pull 100 of them every day, instead of having a pool of 100 players and everybody has to show up every day of the week, right? So you had to war every day of the week with 100 players. So they increased the alliance size by 50% to accommodate this. Then they ripped out the old Node War system and didn't change the alliance system back. Because, and I quote from the Heidelball execs, we didn't want to rip up the communities. They're concerned that it will destroy the communities, so they force them to get bigger, and they don't want to have to force them to downsize. Based on your opinions, in addition, we will continue to improve content that needs not Trep, I know. I know. like, we're cooked, man. This is one of the biggest mistakes in BDO history. Agree. All that this accomplished was it released was guilds at the bottom being cannibalized by guilds at the top. Yeah, I remember when this happened, every guild that was competing with Dismantled at the time essentially immediately folded. This happened when Dismantled was still a guild, and that's why Reassembled exists, guys. I picked up the Legatum shell and renamed it to Reassembled and added it to the guild. And the only guilds that were able to stand were Cho, Digi, and Corrupt, because players would apply to those guilds, Barcode as well, and APOC, because also Vertex, right? So the top end siege guilds were fine, because like they could manage 150 man alliance because they had people applying regularly. But the mid-tier guilds and the low-tier guilds just completely fell apart. The only guild that made it was Dismantled, and the reason we made it is because I ripped the gear score requirement from the guild. I ripped everything from the guild. I just said, take the new players in Tuvala. I was literally pulling Tuvala Timmies into Dismantled, putting them up against Cho Nation and putting a staff in their hand and going, let's go, baby. That's how it worked, bro. Like, that's the only way we made it work. Like, everyone else was just gave up, bro. They went tits up. It was brutal. That was a meat grinder for those Tuvala Timmies. You bet your ass it was. But they loved it. You know why? Because I was entertaining. They didn't give a f. They just cared that I called them evolutionary degenerates. Some of my best clips are from that era. I still have like I still have some of those clips are just insane. Like, but like people loved it. But like, we were the only guild that was able to make it work. A lot of guilds died when this happened. A lot of communities had to merge. Not too many people left the game, but there were a lot less overall guilds. So we went from like 30 overall guilds to like 15 to 20. Because the alliance size just condensed everybody. Like 30% of the community had to merge into each other. This left a lot of guilds a desolate wasteland incapable of recovering. That's absolutely correct. Most of the mid-tier guilds just gave up. I'm assuming the thought process behind this change was to allow smaller guilds the ability to ally up with small guilds so that they could have a numbers to compete with the larger guilds. That's not how it works. You can't do that. This instead just inflated the larger guilds and made the issue worse. Yeah, so what happened was the larger guilds just got 50 more slots and everyone else had to coordinate with 4 guild cores and 4 leadership cores. Guys, like everybody knows that leaderships run way better when you have more than one person in charge, right? Like, honestly, America would be a lesser country without both presidents. Where would Catholicism be without the popes? Like, that's where we're at, okay? But all the big guilds, they had one leadership core, one unit, one community moving forward, and all these, like 4 guild alliances, man, they're barely holding it together, man. Barely holding it together. Everybody's constantly arguing. There's drama. Nobody's on the same page. Everyone wants to do their own thing. Think like the Snake Boys, bro. Every time you got Snake in your alliance, they were just like, okay, well, we just need to get more kills. Well, I guess just pick up Snake because they can get kills, but they're not good for anything else, right? Like, that's basically how it was, right? The PvP community has been screaming at the top of their lungs about this issue since it was released, and it's been ignored. Yep. Honestly, I think the old 100-man guild roster is too big, and guilds should be made no bigger than 75, maybe even 50. I think that 75 is a fair number for a guild size. I think that is fine. If they wanted to release, or I also am okay if they scale back guild size to 100 and make the max alliance size 100. But if you're going to make guild size 75, the max alliance size should also be 75. The max alliance size should always match the maximum guild size, and that's where we're at. I like 75. It encourages a reasonably active community. I think 50 is probably a little too small. No alliances. I think the alliances are fine. Not everybody wants to have a really big community, and you shouldn't force them to in a sandbox like this, right? Like, you understand that Ventus as a guild used to be like 20 or 30 gamers that just really liked each other, and basically just had gay sex in the shower every night. But like, that's what made them stronger as a community. But they didn't really want to bring anybody in on that because they couldn't fit into the shower with the rest of the boys. And like, you really shouldn't force them to get any bigger, right? The PvP community has been screaming. Okay, I read this. Node war. Oh my god, bro. All right, the node war system is something that's been frequently discussed. I know some would agree with me that a lot, and a lot that wouldn't. But hear me out. Okay, so some people would agree with me and a lot wouldn't. But hear me out. This new system is better than we had immediately prior, but not the best system we've had. I don't think that it is better. I think the old system is better because it's more competitive. But I think the new system, the core components of the new system are very good and should be maintained. It has a good premise. Make the leadership cores work less politics, better rewards. You know what I mean? Like basically those three things, right? That's good. And he's not wrong that like those aspects of the new system are good. Problem is they removed all the competitiveness, and for any guild that's not in the top 70 like to 60% of guilds, it's just not worth your time to do. It's just not. It's hopeless. It's a hopeless. That's why everybody keeps quitting. Because if you're in the bottom 30%, you just lose. So you stop going. And then you just move up the ladder. And then the next guild becomes the bottom 30% and they quit. And so on. I genuinely think that the issues with this system can easily be improved, and I wish PA would do so instead of just trying to rework a giant system. If they worked on this new system, it could be workable. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. It could absolutely be workable. They just don't want to do anything because they think they're God's gift to the universe. Choice took some time to lay out how this system could be improved. I know that Choice's layout for the new system, I think that it would dramatically help what we have currently. I still don't think that it would be as good as the old system in terms of overall competitiveness. But it would be an improvement over what we have now. I still think that at this point, reverting to the old system is better than what we currently have in its form. Old system with current rewards is ideal. Okay. Realistically, I would like a hybrid between the two. I would like you have the old system, you have the new system. I would like to retain the values of the new system while moving back towards the old system. Meet somewhere in the middle. Easier for leadership cores, less politics, easier for guilds to get into, same like better rewards and stuff. I think we can meet in the middle on this. This is easily met in the middle. Oh, this was posted on the North American forum, so no one cares. 210 upvotes? That doesn't even get a response from Perlibus. I'm pretty sure you have to have 250 upvotes for Perlibus to even acknowledge that you said anything. Like, I'm like legitimately almost positive. I'm not logged in right now, but I remember upvoting this. Yeah, I'm not going to go through this whole change. But like basically he said make Node Wars 90 minutes instead of 60. And then essentially you're going to have guilds fighting for control of multiple nodes. So nodes will become available, like more forts become available the longer the node war goes on, is the way I understood this. And so low tier guilds still feel like they have a reason to continue fighting beyond like the first few minutes where they realize that it's hopeless and that the big guilds are going to take all the nodes. And so like as there's more and more nodes to fight for, the bigger guilds can take more nodes, but it's also harder for them to maintain those nodes because like, you know, if you have 9 nodes, you can't spread all your players out among those nodes. So like it's reasonable. It's kind of a combination of like the risk system that they used to have. Like, this is better than what they have currently. I like it, but like it's cooked because a Canadian came up with it. They care even less about what Canada says than what I say or what America says. Also, the player caps I'm about to touch on tie into the comment I made about comments alliances above. The 75-man alliance cap is a problem in itself. I'm so sorry, guys. Let me just fix this serious issue. Okay, as we were. I understand trying to have larger battles available to guilds that want to do so, but having 75-man node wars be the uncapped gear content is obnoxiously backwards. 100% true. The whole PvP community has a maximum gear available to participate in the capped content, but for uncapped content, you have a significantly smaller pool of players that feel as if they're able to compete. Yeah, so what the developers don't understand, they all think the same stupid thing because they sit behind a desk and don't understand how node wars work. Okay, so the developers think as you go up in gear, you should go up in player count. These two things have always been synonymous. So like as the cap increases, for like gear cap increases, so should the overall max cap of players allowed to participate in the node war. So like uncapped should be 100-man or 75-man, right? And T1 cap should always be like 25 or 30, right? This is not the case. As Zethian just said, there's a lot less players that can do uncapped or feel that they can be competitive on uncapped. So really, the only types of node wars that are going to be competitive for uncapped are really 30-mans and 50-mans, right? So like as the uncapped, as gear increases, as gear score increases, okay, the number of people that can that are allowed in the node war should not necessarily also increase at a 1-to-1 ratio. It should increase at maybe a 0.5 ratio, right? Like you should allow people with actually it should be completely independent. I'm gonna go a step further. Gear score should be completely independent of number of war participants. It should be completely independent. It should go up, should go down, could do whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. Number of node wars participants should not in any way rely on gear score. In other words, T1 caps should have an opportunity to have 55 people compete in a T1 node war, right? If your T1 guild is really like has a lot of people, okay, sure, you know, but like that's less important. More importantly, uncapped players should be able to participate in node wars as small as 30.
525
right?
just resubscribed for 2 months. Wouldn't it be a bell curve?
No, we don't want the two to be associated at all. We don't want the two to be associated at all. Okay. Uncapped should always be able to participate in any of these three. T1s, a little bit different. Guilds are still developing, right? It's very unlikely a T1 guild's going to be able to hold 75 participants, right? Maybe 50 at maximum. Usually 30. So you don't really see T1 guilds advocating for 50-man node wars. So that can be overlooked. But in the uncapped regiment, they need to be able to go down to 30-man node wars for uncapped. He's absolutely correct. Okay. If you're going to make any fight involve 75 players from a guild, then it should be the one with capped gear. True, because there are more people that can participate in capped than uncapped, or feel that they can participate in that. Since this will allow for involvement of any guild with more than 75 players. But for some reason, 75 player fights are only available with uncapped gear. Yep, that's because the developers don't understand how guilds work, which significantly reduces the amount of guilds capable of participating in the fight. There are very few guilds left in the game capable of pulling 75 people to a fight. I'd say there's maybe 3. The majority of guilds won't be able to fill a 75 slot, never mind 75 geared people. Yeah. I think most people enjoy smaller fights and would prefer if they weren't in any fights over 50 players. I genuinely feel that the uncapped fights should be smaller fights, 30 man, because most guilds in the game are capable of finding 30 reasonably geared people in their roster. And the uncapped fights should be could be some of the larger fights. You could also rotate the caps so people can enjoy fighting different regions instead of fighting in the same area every day. Well, we've been asking for that for years. And they rotate the regions once a year. It needs to be rotated once every 3 months or so. Absolutely correct. And this is all absolutely correct. Yep. Conquest. Oh, God. I honestly don't know what you want to do with this. Conquest has felt bad for a long time. You're either left with a situation where it's impossible to attack a castle because the advantage is given to the defender, or there's so many people that it's impossible to defend the castle because of the lag. Here's a link from Divios' stream from the most recent siege on August 17, 2024. Not even gonna bother. It's, yeah. Everything is going great until too many people are in one area. Eventually, it becomes too much for the server to handle, and your hits stop connecting. Okay, put all of the servers in a unique instance. When Siege starts, all of the Balanos 1, Calvion 1, Medaya 1, Valencia 1, all instanced. That. Just make those instanced all the time. You can only join those if you're yesed up for Node Wars. Literally that simple. Node Wars and Siege lag less. There's no loser Tuvala Timmy who's just trying to AFK process on the channel. You don't have to worry about it. We see the same thing happen with War of the Roses. War of the Roses is way less laggy than Siege is most of the time because it's on its own server. It would help dramatically. But this is not hard, guys. If we decrease the overall number of channels, we take 5 channels away, right? Calvion, Balanos, Medaya, Valencia, right? That's it. That's it. Who cares? Nobody's gonna give a shit. If anything, it helps open world PvP because it makes more of a competition for resources. But yeah. 300 versus 300, War of the Roses, so laggy. It's not nearly as bad as Sieges. Don't even get me started. War of the Roses is at least more spread out, right? There is some lag in War of the Roses, but it's not even close to what we've experienced in Siege. It's dramatically less. Eventually it becomes too much for the server to handle, and your hits stop connecting. You keep getting please try again. And Show Nation is holding well until this starts to happen, and as soon as it does, it becomes impossible to defend. That was our strategy against Show Nation for a long time. That was my strategy in Dismantled. Like that's what we would do. Guilds were terrified. Barcode used to be terrified of Dismantled. Not because we were stronger than Barcode, we weren't. It's because I could pull 13 T1 guilds and just zerg people out of the castle. Like, that was my strategy. I'd just be like, all right, well, we're just going to bring 30 guilds and zerg you out of the castle, and then we're going to have our own setup fight. Get the out of here. That's what we would do. So then Barcode started placing forts on the region to block the placements of the other guild. It was crazy. What a time to be alive that was. At least there were guilds alive to block. You know what I mean? Now it's not even worth blocking. I think this problem was somewhat masked in the early stages of Black Desert because there was some friendly fire. So if guilds tried to push a castle defender together, then it would hit. They would hit each other and get thinned out quicker. Yeah, a little bit. I'll be honest. I don't know how you fix this. You don't. Without a complete Siege rework, you don't fix this. And this one really upsets me because North American EU communities felt as if Perlibus spat in our faces. Korea experienced this issue for the first time in a cross-region siege and completely lost their minds, and Perlibus immediately responded. Fucking true. True. Korea lagged one time in a global siege that even remotely resembled what we get every Saturday. They lost their marbles, and Perlibus put out like 4 addresses. They were like, we're so sorry. We completely up. We're working to fix it. Oh my god. Like, actually just insane. Literally insane. Dude, we've been experiencing this for years and still experience it, but hear nothing. I will say the central servers have gotten better for sure. The central servers are better than the other servers. But it's still there. I remember the first UN podcast. The Koreans started out, they were like, we get lag too. Stop complaining about lag. Oh my god. All NA and EU, lag this, lag that. And then we showed them what a siege looked like. They were like, this is our siege last Saturday. And they were like, never mind. This is the devil. Like, was like literally what I was seeing in the chat. Like, they were like, we're so sorry. Oh god. Wait, that's way worse. Holy shit, that would be complete. Why are you guys still playing this game? That's completely unplayable. Like, yeah, it is. I'd like to think if this was fixable that it would have been done. It would have been done by now. But it's likely that PA thinks that they fixed it because my knowledge is Korea doesn't experience it during their local sieges. I think that central servers were a step for PA trying to fix it for us. They were. So I'll give them credit where credit's due there. But they needed to go one more step further. Just make all of Node Wars and Siege instance servers. It will help dramatically. You're never going to get rid of lag completely. That's a folly. That's a fool's errand. Okay. But like making them instance servers at least gives you a fighting chance. It at least makes it a lot better than what it is now. Makes it reasonably playable. Red Battlefield and mechanics. Oh, God, bro. The extra stats you get in Red Battlefield are nonsense. I still don't know why you get DR as your HP goes down. Extra defensive stats disproportionately make geared players feel harder to kill than it does for newer players. So it widens how large the gear gap feels. This should be removed. Yep. Also, in regards to Valencia, it's not going to help though. RBF's just dead. In regards to Valencia RBF, the debuff areas are obnoxiously bad. It feels as if they were designed to stop players from running a full defensive setup and sitting on a point, making it near impossible to capture a point. But all this debuff areas do is create a worse problem. Now you'll have people with highly defensive builds sit on the enemy team's point with no desire to capture it, but because of the debuff on the enemy, they can still get kills while being near unkillable. This causes most Valencia Red Battlefield matches to be one-sided, with one team or stuck at their home point. These debuff zones for controlled points create more problems than they solve and should just be removed. Also, a lot of these mechanics are hidden. New players have no idea what's going on, and there's no description in the game to find how the system works, just leaving them in the dark. Guys, the trick to fixing Red Battlefield. Guys, I'm rank 5 RBF. Holy shit, is that a clip right there? I am a rank 5 RBF. Blue Squadron. Blue Squadron is rank 5 RBF. I never thought I would see the day. I never thought I would see the day. I'm a rank 5 RBF. You're crazy. Holy shit. There's another reassembled member. Reassembled PvP guild? There are people with 4 kills in RBF that are top 30 on the server. This game mode is dead. RBF, I'll be honest, they could remove it. Most people aren't going to care. Well, actually, no one's going to care. I take it back. No one gives a shit. All the PvPers stop playing. There's no one left. There's literally no one left. Like all these endgame PvPers that liked RBF, gone. They're gone. Gear caps in general and balancing. Prohibition has created an absolute balancing nightmare for themselves. I'm not talking about the class. I'm not talking about it at a class level. Any rational person can acknowledge that with there being more specs in the game, with there being more specs in the game than there are cards and a deck of cards, that we will have issues with class balance. That's true. There are more class specs in the game than there are like cards in a deck of cards. But to make this issue significantly worse, we have the massive variety of what seems to be arbitrary caps that makes or breaks some classes. Some classes feel very different depending on which cap you're fighting on. So how are you supposed to address class balance when classes feel different depending on what cap they're on? How do you balance the game when you have all these caps or different feeling game modes? Balance Serenia caps, Medaya, Valencia caps. I'll be honest. I don't really know T1 Node Wars. Here's a hot take. I feel like a player can hit the Medaya Valencia caps in like 2 weeks of just reasonably active play. You're handed a pen Black Star. You're handed pen armor. You're handed like full Tet armor and weapons for free. Then you've got Jatina pens. You got a guaranteed pen in that time period too. You're gonna get Confrus, right? So like the Medaya Valencia caps, I don't even know what T1 node war caps are almost irrelevant. You can hit that on day one. It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious because of how quickly we have accelerated players' progression. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but like if you're going to remove one of the caps, it should probably be Balanos Serendia. Calphia, Kama, Sylvia, Siege, uncapped, Red Battlefield, hidden stats, Medea, Siege, Trial Gear Seasons. Yep. I feel there should only be one cap, and in my opinion, the cap should be something like Balanos. You forgot about Balanos. Balanos is its own cap. Oh, wait, never mind. You just included Serendia. Oh, no. You mean Node Wars. I mean Balanos Siege, guys. I think that Balanos Siege should be the only capped PvP in the game. I think it should be like Balanos Siege is capped PvP because it's lower than Medea Valencia, but it's higher than T1 caps significantly, right? It's somewhere in the middle. Like it's really easy for new players to get to, and then like mid-game players can kind of optimize it a little bit. It's like kind of works for that for both parties in that regard. Like that should be the only cap in the game. Just do away with everything else. I think most people would agree that the Solare cap is the best. Okay, that's okay. I take it all back. True. If the arena of Solare caps are on the table, he's absolutely right. Yeah, if we're gonna be willing to cap gear like Arena of Solare, yes, that should be how cap gear works. 100%. I was thinking specifically for large scale. There's some things to be said about this cap, but I don't want to deviate from the main point. With caps like Solare, where players can choose the gear that's considered roughly on fine with their pieces of gear, the current Node War and Siege caps that just add a hard limit. You could even give players the capped gear. Like if they want to participate in Node Wars, they just go up to the guild shop and just buy a set of capped gear for like 1 silver from the guild shop. And then just equip it. Like if you really want to make it accessible for new players, you can do that. Like passives that classes have without having the Solare caps allow people to build gear against each other while maintaining these class differences instead of having them stripped away. Okay? I genuinely believe that if you only have uncapped and Solare caps to balance around, that would make balancing classes a bit easier. And add more consistency to how the game feels in different modes. It would also be easy to understand for new players if they just had the same Solare gearing setup to use for all capped content. It's true. I completely agree. Yeah, one cap would be way better than what we have currently. Yes. True. But I'll be honest with you, the biggest problem with balance, guys, is not that we have a bunch of game modes or that they're struggling to balance around these game modes. It's that they don't balance. Okay, I always describe balance in the same way. Balance is like a snow globe, okay? At the beginning of the season or at the beginning of the year, the developers shake things up, right? And there's a lot of different snowflakes all floating around in the snow globe, right? Maybe there's a statue in the middle. Okay? As the season goes on or as the year progresses, the developers start to balance things. They hotfix things, they patch things out, and as the snowflakes start to settle, you get a very clear picture of what the new metagame in the game looks like. And at this point, you have your big like world-style tournament like League of Legends does. For us, it would be like best in guild or best in class, right? And in this way, you get to see who has mastered the current metagame. Then at the start of the year again, you simply shake up the snow globe again with a bunch of new changes, and you repeat the process. It makes it very interesting for players to have to figure out the metagame. It starts to balance over time. What we have are developers that know how to shake up the snow globe, so we get these really big patches where they're changing all sorts of things, like the DR and evasion patch. And then we don't see any changes for months. So like, it would be like a snow globe that never settled, right? So you never get a clear picture of what the metagame really looks like, right? Like our problem with our balance team is that they're not actually balancing. They're not actually like trying to adjust things. We see like 1 or 2 adjustments and then they just move on and then that's it. And that's just not enough. It's just not enough. That's my personal take on balance. I don't feel like they adjust enough. I feel like they have the snow globe model like half figured out. Solare and Guild League consistency and rewards. Oh boy, a lot of players love both Guild League and Solare, but are absolutely frustrated with both reliability and availability. and also the rewards. Seems like a simple solution, but maybe it needs to be said. I'll be honest with you. If Guild League had as good of rewards as Node War does, or did, there would be a lot of people that did Guild League. If they were half as good as Node War was, you'd see people that like did Guild League much more frequently. It lasts as long as Node War does. It's a 20-minute fight. That's longer than most Node Wars nowadays. First, consistency. 1.5 months of Solare followed by 1.5 months of Guild League. All alternate these like clockwork so people have something to look forward to and practice for. Agree. Having these game modes disappear for nearly a year will do nothing but drive people away. Completely agree. Another W Zethian. Common Zethian W. Second, rewards. We can talk about proper monetary rewards until we're blue in the face, but it's clear Pluralists are avoiding it at all costs. Not true. They seem to get it with Node Wars. Let's see, the Node Wars system, this new Node Wars system, it's their baby. Guys, they can see that it's failing. They see that it's floundering. They see that we're not happy with it. They absolutely do. That every region is not happy with it. But it's their baby. They developed it on a whiteboard in an office. And they really want it to work. And do you know how I know that? Because they gave the rewards for it. Absolutely obnoxious rewards. Okay? When they care about a game mode and they really want you to do it and try their new content, they give you some rewards to back that shit up. They don't give a about Guild League. They don't give a about Solare, and they certainly don't give a about RBF. The systems have been in the game now for a while, except for Guild League, which is relatively new. Right? True. Honestly, why don't we just make Guild League its own standalone game? I don't understand the mentality that grinding is considered work.
Just resubscribed for 5 months. I love this game so much. I will P2W blue.
Thanks, buddy. Welcome back for 5 months, man. Really appreciate that. Almost at the 6-month badge. Yes. Pay to win easy. In the Blue Squadron chat. I don't understand the mentality that grinding is considered work. Therefore, it should be considered more rewarding than PvP. Yeah, I would completely agree. I think that rewards in BDO should be increased depending on the activity level of what you're doing. Grinding is an extremely high activity level and deserves very high rewards. PvP is also extremely high activity level and also deserves extremely high rewards. It's very simple. They do this with life skilling. Life skilling is relatively low activity level when you compare it to the other like PvE and PvP, and like it gets lower rewards as a result. Why they won't do this with PvP is absolutely beyond me. What you need to realize, Pluralists, is that you should be rewarding people for the time spent actively playing your game. True. Whether it's PvE content or PvP content, yes. It should be equally rewarding if it's something that has to be actively done. Holy f***. Guys, you'd think that I pre-read this. You'd think that I pre-read this. You should look at this as rewarding for your community and playing your game. True. Not looking at it as rewarding people for working in your game. Yep. And also, PvP requires the most consumables too. It's not like you're also losing the most money PvPing too. Like PvE does require consumables, yes, but typically you're using way more consumables like whale tendons and shit way more frequently in PvP. Like, what are we talking about? It costs more money, and I would argue it's even more active than PvE is, right? If people start to feel like this game is a job, they will move on. That doesn't mean some people don't enjoy grinding. As almost everyone knows, I am one of those people. Yeah. Underwater, bro. Crazy. I'd love to see Zethian's total kills on his mobs. But variety is in the spice of life, and giving people the opportunity to progress while doing an activity they enjoy will only help grow the community. Now, on the other hand, the community has shown time and time again that they're very quick to try to abuse and exploit things for their own gains. True. Can we exploit it and how? This isn't a reason to punish the rest of the community for never adding this content. This just means that the system needs to be designed in a way that makes abuse easily detectable so that it can be punished. If the community knows that there's a good chance that they will be caught or punished for abusing systems, then this will deter the vast majority of potential abusers. It's true. It's true. I've seen way less chat abuse. You know why? Because they get caught immediately. You say something stupid in chat, they just ban your ass. Literally just that simple. Way less toxicity. Now, after monetary rewards and cosmetic rewards, and this is a bigger and more important one in my eyes, having the same outfit and title every season just diminishes the value of the rewards as the season goes on. Well, boy, oh boy, Zethine, are you going to be happy about the Guild League rewards? Because, oh man, buckle up. Suslog, thanks for the Prime sub, but I appreciate you dropping it here. Yeah, the developers don't understand that having an exclusive title means nothing if everyone also has that exclusive title. The Lot or Zeka set, for example, is completely useless nowadays because everybody has it. Multiples of it. It diminishes the value of the item if everybody has it. That's how it works. Like, it needs to be a new title and a new outfit every season. It's literally just that simple. It would encourage players like who have gotten it in the past to do it again this season. So it encourages people to participate in the game mode. It's also the lowest effort you've ever seen in your entire life. And I know what the developers are going to say because I've spoken with them before. The argument against this, guys, and I'm not joking, this is the developers' argument against having a different title every time. Okay? They value giving the titles away in game that much. They don't want to give you a new title every time. They think it diminishes having a special title if there's too many special titles. That's what they think. Okay? So they try to minimize how many special titles are in the game. For like Arena of Solare, for example, is the same title every season. The new Guild League rewards are a perfect example. It's the same title. It's always the same title. That way they only add one new title to the game and their precious little ecosystem of titles is preserved. That's stupid. Of course it's stupid. Somebody with mental illness and too many chromosomes thought it up. That's literally dumb. It's a title. It's a title. Lazy is what it is. Well, it's going to be seen as lazy. It's absolutely going to be seen as lazy. It's just that simple. They have it in their head that their game is so special, and it is. But their game is so special, and the titles are so special that they don't want to hand too many titles away because they feel it'll devalue everyone's titles. It's simply not the case. Having cool
I'm starting
titles,
to think J actually means janky.
Yeah, having cool titles, there could be 3,000 custom titles in the game, and I don't know about you guys, I'd love to like walk up to an adventure and be like, yo, how'd you get that title? That one's green. Yo, how'd you get adventurer? You know what I mean? Like, how'd you get angel? You know, like, how'd you get this? How'd you get that? Like, that would be cool. It doesn't devalue anything. And anything, it increases, like you're like walking around, this is the title that I'm wearing, right? Like, holy moly. I had that with Seasonal Sensation. Yeah, see? Like, it makes players that already won feel less incentivized to play later seasons because the rewards are the same. Exactly. Like, Divios doesn't want to play new seasons of Solare because he's already got the Solare title. Why the fuck would he want to do it, you idiots? What, do you think people are just going to come back and do the same thing? And again, this is because their definition of good PvP is just mindless bloodshed with no common goal. They don't care. Now I understand not wanting to make a new outfit every season. No, that's bullshit. They don't even have to make a new outfit every season. They could just dye it. This season, the cape is blue. This season, the cape is red. This season, the cape is green. It could be literally, this is low effort as f***. We're not even asking for the world here. Just make it an undyeable outfit and make the cape different colors every goddamn season. It's not that hard. It ain't that hard. Also, the title Solare Knight every season loses. Everybody has this title. I don't even think that people are good when I see this title. It's like, yeah, whatever, bro. I could get that too if I wanted to grind. You just wait for it to come out. No one gives a shit if you have Solare Knight. Every season loses its value for the same reasons listed above. The titles don't have the cosmetic effect, but just feel something different every season, so people can show off their achievements. Can go a long way. You could even be lazy and call it Solare Night Season 1, Solare Night Season 2. Stop. 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 Get Solare Night 1, Solare Night 2, Solare Night 3, Solare Night 4. He's not wrong, they could be. And it would be a big improvement. That way players can show off multiple seasons they've won, and specifically what seasons. Yeah. These seasons' exclusive rewards also create a community connection point. Because, let's be honest, I don't think we've had a season yet that hasn't had its own issues. But once players start to have rewards that show which season they earn them in, this allows them to connect about it and what overcome each season. Oh, yeah, because players can be like, oh, season 4. Oh, yeah, man, you were in the trenches that season. Holy shit, bro. You know what I mean? Like, the crashing that season was insane. Remember season 4 when 23 of the top 100 players were berserkers and Pearlibus didn't see this as a problem? Bonding. Oh my god, he's right. These titles could help initiate conversations like players like these and remind people of their fondest memories of each season. Third, Solare Customs and Spectator Mode. This is like a content creator request. This is kind of a different from the two other points, but worth mentioning because it is very simple. Spectator mode enables players to run events. There it is. You are sitting with potentially one of the best content creators at running tournaments in the MMO genre. Okay. And I'm not saying that, but look, I've watched WoW tournaments get run. I've watched Guild Wars tournaments get run. I've watched BDO tournaments get run. I've got some of the best production value that you're ever going to see across the whole genre. Okay, because our combat system is just that good. Like, it's literally just that simple. And it's not just me. Armin is really good at running tournaments. Other members of the community run tournaments as well, right? Your community wants to run these tournaments and has potential to do so. And it generates you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay? The visibility that people like me get off those tournaments reaches outside the BDO category, and you have people looking at it going, damn, this game looks kind of cool. I need to play this game. Then they spend hundreds to thousands of dollars on the video game. All you gotta do is give us the spectate feature. We're not asking for your support. I gave up on that years ago. You don't help me with events. When was the last time Pearlibus helped me with an event? What, are we joking? I get more help from Mythic Talent than I do from Pearlibus on my events. I'm just being honest, okay? It's just that simple, all right? Like, I get more help from Icon Digital than I do from PA. And that's fine, because I understand I've grown outside what Pearlibus feels comfortable supporting, okay? I run bigger events than the multi-billion-dollar company. I understand. You're terrible at running events. I'm better than you. I get it. I would feel bad too with the amount of money and resources that you have. Getting outdone in production value. That's crazy. That's insane. I wouldn't support me either. That's insane. It's insane that Blue Squadron had the biggest hyped PvP tournament of 2024. A community tournament. Community tournament. Okay? And no, Pearlibus did not support it. But in fairness, it was a huge community tournament. And my next event is too big. They can't support that either. I just like to run really big events. But it ain't even just about me. They don't support nobody. Not with a spectate feature. Not with anything. Bro, do you guys want to know the reason that recently Zethian, I think he's in the chat. Zethian, you want to know why they announced the partner awards for events recently? They were like, we just wanted to clarify what partners are able to get for events. You know why they did that? It's because I applied for help with my next event. They were like, yeah. So, no. Also, here's what we're going to be willing to do. All right. Like that's it, okay? I don't blame them necessarily. There is a limit to what Pluribus is going to be able to do to support content creators, okay? But like a spectate mode costs you nothing but some development time. All right? Literally nothing but development time. All right? We're not asking for outfits. We're not asking for titles, which by the way, also costs you nothing. We're talking about virtual currency. You won't even help yourselves. We have this new league, right? We have this new tournament league that Pluribus came up with. And is definitely original, okay? We have this new league that they come out with. And every month, the rewards for these leagues aren't even including pearls. What are we doing? It costs you $0 and 0 cents to add pearls to the event. Oh my God, but 10,000 pearls, that's $100. That's 100 US dollars. That they would have spent otherwise. No, it's not. Niveos isn't going to spend $100 because he didn't win the tournament. Are you dumb? Like, adding pearls or outfits to the tournament simply just increases the value of the tournament while costing your company nothing. Literally nothing. Okay? You take a really good idea that the CMs and GMs worked hard on copying from Armin, and you just don't deliver the rewards, and not enough people are going to do it. Okay? It's a great idea. Really good job from the CM GM team to develop that event and watch Armin's videos that carefully. Okay? Really, really good. But the reason I know it's not our CM GM team that's gatekeeping me, it's not our CM GM team that's gatekeeping the creators, it's not our CM GM team gatekeeping the spectate mode, and it's not our CM GM team gatekeeping the new AOS league. Okay? You know this because if they were in charge, I guarantee you that corruption would have added pearls or outfits to that event. Because they worked hard on creating it. Okay? Absolutely, they probably tried. I'm just speculating wildly here. They probably tried. Do you know who stopped them? The Korean office is like, no, we don't want to support events that much. Guaranteed. It's the Korean office behind everything. I will guarantee that the North American CM/GM team advocates to support my events and fights for me every time. And they lose every time. So then they got to come back to me and be like, hey, Blue, sorry, we can't support this one either. And then I get mad, except I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at the loser in the Korean office who won't support its own community's events that are going to raise it hundreds of thousands of dollars. They just don't understand the value. This spectate feature seems like such a small thing. It's so small. It's just a little thing. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do you have any idea what Armin could do with a spectate mode? Do you know how many players he could encourage to play the game by showing AOS in spectate? Do you have any idea how much money I could make you if you just delivered this spectate feature? Like, this is something really small, and yeah, you're doing it for the community. You're doing it for yourselves. You guys stand to gain hundreds of thousands of dollars from just adding this simple feature. Millions of dollars. One developer working on this for maybe a week could get it done. Maybe a week, maybe 2. How much did you pay that guy? Not nearly as much as you're gonna make off the feature. It's just that simple. Run the numbers. Tell me I'm wrong. Holy shit. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent. I know, I'm just so mad because I know corruption and the other CMGMs, they go to their superiors and they're like, yo, Blue wants to run this really cool event. What can we do to help him? And their superiors are like, oh yeah, let's see what we can get done. And then they go talk to those people over sitting in the Korean office, and they're like, nothing. That bald bastard. Like that literally, dude. Like, what are we doing? It's not even just me, bro. Holy moly. Oh my God. He asked me about my Bugatti. It's not even just me, though. Like, holy moly. Goodness gracious. This should be so important on Perlibus's list of changes because it feels so trivial, but would be massively impactful on how the community interacts with each other. So f***ing true! Armin had to jump through hoops to set up a Discord to try and manage this system, and it could have been made significantly easier if there was a spectate mode built into the game. Also, map selection would be a nice addition too. Holy shit. I mean, how crazy would it be if you could ban a map? Oh my God! Maybe in 2027. A pick ban phase? What the f? To be fair, even Onlay said that they went over that little community tournament. That was all they could do. Rewards allowed they were allowed to give. Yeah. So I'm just like, this is how Perlibus chooses to support community tournaments. Okay, so if let's say Engeli Art wants to run a tournament to 200 viewers, let's say 400 viewers. She is given X amount of support. Okay. And then let's say that I, Blue, wants to run a tournament for 2,500 viewers. And Blue is going to get X amount of support. And then let's say that, Seizing wants to run a community or wants to run a tournament to 100 viewers. Okay, just for fun. Fun community tournament. Just he's not really trying to organize it or be fancy with it. He's not really trying to hype it up or announce it in advance. He's just for fun. All right, so let's say he's predicting 100 average viewers for his tournament. Okay, not that he has more than that on average, but I'm just lowballing it just as an example. Okay, and he's gonna get X amount of support. The way that Perlibus sees how they should support these tournaments is backwards. Okay, Perlibus is going to give the same amount of support to Seizane as they're gonna give to me, as they're gonna give to Engeli. It doesn't matter what your viewership is going to be. It doesn't matter how much you've put into the tournament. It doesn't matter how much of your own money or production value is going into it, or what your viewership is going to be, or how big your viewer base is. None of that matters. All that matters is you're a partner and you're running a tournament, and we're going to give you all the exact same amount of support no matter what. So what this means, Perlibus, because I know you're watching, is it does not encourage someone like me to run a big event because I'm gonna get the same amount of support Seizane is for doing no work at all. I'm gonna hype mine up, do hundreds of hours of labor, make the production value insane, invite all of these players, spend tens of thousands of dollars of my money. Well, not 10. I spent $7,000 US dollars on the last tournament, right? And I'm gonna get the exact same amount that Seizane did, and he didn't spend an hour of prep. Do you see why this is backwards? This is insane. This is madness. The way you should support tournaments should be based off the creator's investment. So if Seizane wants to run a tournament that is, let's say Seizane wants to run a $10,000 tournament. 10,000 US dollar prize pool tournament. Okay? And I want to run a 50 US dollar tournament prize pool. Well, Seizane's gonna get the exact same support from Perlibus that I do. That's where we're currently at. Okay? What I'm saying that they need to shift is it shouldn't be based on how big the creator necessarily is. Okay? I understand you want to try to help, like, encourage smaller creators to run big events, and you don't want to discourage people. I completely agree. Right? You shouldn't just support me more because I have more viewers. That's stupid. I completely agree with that sentiment. It should be based on how much investment the content creator wants to put into their event. So if C-Zane wants to put up $10,000, Pearl Abyss should match that support. They should be going all out. And if I'm putting up 50, they should be like, okay, well, Blue will throw you an outfit, but who gives a shit, right? Like, that's how it should be. Because then that encourages you to run bigger events, right? It's not based on how big of a content creator I am, and it's not all standardized, right? It encourages, like right now, our current system does not encourage you to run really big events. And you're wondering why your partners are so lazy. It's because you have created this, right? You made a system where, well, you can either run a tournament, which is going to cost you hundreds of hours, or you can put on a fashion show tomorrow afternoon and get the same support. What are we talking about? Like, it's no wonder I'm the only person that wants to literally put up $5,000 for a tournament. Armin doesn't want to do that. Why would he? $500 to flush it, baby. Why the would you? Doesn't make any sense. You need to rethink how you're supporting your creators' events. Plain and simple. And by the way, don't try and tell me that was a disrespectful way to explain it. That was as respectful as it's gonna get. Before that conversation has to happen. Okay, that was a respectful way of saying it. Okay. This would also give your team of community managers significantly better tools to run their events. Yep. Even their community managers can't get support for their own events, guys. You understand that Corruption and Etsu and all them are coming up with this awesome like tournament league that they're gonna spend like probably dozens of hours a month trying to create and run? They can't even get their own support. That's how I know it's not the CMGM team. It's not their fault. It's Korea's fault. Because they don't understand the value of this kind of thing. They don't understand the value of a spectate feature, right? They go above and beyond to try and interact and create events for the community despite having an obviously very limited tool set. Yup. I cannot speak highly enough about your CM team. Yeah. So guys, understand that when I'm upset about like systems like this only exist because it's not our CMGM team that really is the problem. It's because Korea has no idea how to support like their creators and their community. They just don't understand the value. I would list names, but I don't want to accidentally leave any names out. You know who they are. Oh, it's just all our entire CMGM team. Even Polly, who's been currently banned from my chat because he talks shit about dogs. Like the CMGM team's great. I got no complaints. It's not them telling me no every time. Like, Corruption goes to bat for me every time. So does Etsu. So does every other CM when I need their help. Ronan, Adley, right? But like, they can't do anything because the Korean execs just won't let them do anything. They can't support you. So no, event's too big. You can't do that. Presets. All-in-one presets are something that Pearl Abyss announced in 2024, or announced for 2024. There's still time left for this to be added. I feel that this is one important change that should have been added earlier the year instead of later, but here we are. Ever since Pearl Abyss has been making more and more difficult PvE content, it's been required for you to use PvE-focused gear on how... Oh, I'm sorry. To be more PvE-focused on how you build your gear, artifacts, lightstones, crystals, add-ons, and even buffs. You are at a massive disadvantage, and alternatively, if you decide to stand your ground and... oh, okay. And alternatively, if you decide to stand your ground and fight... Okay, so this should have been a comma. That's fine. Once you swap all of your gear, your different gear and add-ons to be more PvP focused, now you cannot kill the mobs. This has led, in general, to open world PvP feeling very bad. I agree. But also to Arsha feeling like a waste of time. This has also enabled players to cause you grief by coming out and attacking you while you're set up for PvE. You then have to take a few minutes to swap all of your different gears and buffs, go to the battle arena, or go to a nearby safe zone to swap add-ons, just to come back to fight and have them leave because they weren't interested in fighting you when they're at a disadvantage. Oh, they were only interested in fighting at you when you were at a disadvantage. Yeah, again, guys, if the fight is not 5 attack speed and 5 move speed, it's not the fight that we agreed on. So, now you have to take the time to go back and swap everything back just so you can start grinding again for the other person to show back up. Yup. I typed all this out in one sitting. I thought it was going to be a couple pages, and it ended up being a lot. It ended up being 11. And it's single space too, bro. This is like size 11 font. Like, literally size 11 font. This has caused players a lot to feel as if PvP channel is not worth the hassle because you aren't even given the opportunity to fight back. And even off-channel Arsha has made grinding disputes feel like a waste of time since these players aren't there for a fight, but are actually just trying to frustrate you enough so that you can leave. Pretty much, yeah. That's why I said the Arsha events should be held on, like, Pirate Island. Not Paddocks, Pirate Island. Sawsons, Helms, right? Abandoned Iron Mine, right? All of the one-shot spots so you can have your full PvP loadout engaged the whole time. And if someone comes to PvP you, you are locked and ready to go. Because you're one shot in the mobs, anybody, nobody cares. Okay? You buff Sawsons to be 4 billion silver an hour for 1 week, but only on the 2 Arsha servers. Competition for resources. One-shot mobs, meaning you can grind in PvP gear set. Massive potential. Then you rotate it to Helms the next week. Then Elric Shrine, then Abandoned Iron Mine, then Pirates, then Mains, then Wandering Roads. Just keep rotating it around. Makes use of all that dead content that you don't want to use. Someone said change all the mobs to human on Arsha. No, it's still not going to work because you still got your add-ons is our problem. Your crystals you could run human damage, sure, but you're still going to be running the human damage crystals are different than PvE human damage. So like PvP human damage and PvE human damage are 2 different things. You're going to be running 2 different crystal setups. And so like you got to change your crystals, you got to change your presets, you got to swap to Nuver, right? Like there's all kinds of shit you got to do even in that case, right? PvEers crying in chat, you, it's not for you. The only complaint I've seen to that event is, oh, then they'll just gatekeep it from me. Get stronger, pussy. No one cares. Like, that's how it used to be. That's how open world PvP used to be. I used to go to Elric Shrine, not because it was good for my health and grind 6 million silver an hour. Not because it was good for my health, but because that's where all the people I could kill were. Because you rolled up on someone, there was no DFS. There were so many people playing. You're just walked in. You're flagged. You're sending. A white dot walks on the minimap. So anyway, I started blasting. Okay. And you killed that guy. And it wasn't anything personal. You're just trying to grind. And you certainly aren't going to follow him to the next server because you got to defend this new. Now you're like, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, because you got other people coming in trying to contest your spot. Competition for resources, small amount of grind zones, small amount of servers, large amount of players. Now we have huge open world with many grind zones, Marnie's Realm, many servers, lower server swap cooldown. There's no competition for resources. All PvP feels personal. So remove that. Just make it the 2 Arsha servers and significantly buff 1 grind zone a week on those Arsha servers. Preferably at the one-shot mob locations where people can just go and reminisce about old times and wear their full PvP loadout the whole time. That way it's just a clown fiesta. There won't be gatekeeping. No one's going to be able to lock that shit down. I don't give a who you are. It's going to be a clown fiesta. It'll be fun. For the higher gear people, I understand, but like the event is really not for the mid-tier PvEer, okay? And honestly, it could be. Just make it seasonal Arsha too. Fuck it. Seasonal Arsha gets it too. Clown Fiesta. Now you've encouraged PvP for new players too. How fun would that be? Fuck it. Like, holy shit. There's so much potential here. Anyway. There's 2 solutions to this. Give us the ability to have 2 different setups active. One that's active against mobs and one that's active against against players. Give us the ability to set up an all-in-one preset that ties it all together and swaps it all at once. Giving us one of these 2 options will make defending yourself open world feel a lot less aggravating. I mean, that's true. I think they are working on this. I think the gear loadouts is probably a high priority for them. And the reason I say that is because this exists. This life skilling shit, this is what your gear loadouts are going to look like, but for your gear, and like your presets and your crystals are all going to be down here. And you can set up all your gear, presets, artifacts, and all that shit is all going to be down here. And you can set it up ahead of time, and there's going to be like 5 different like presets that you can do, and you can just click bam, and then you're in that preset. I almost guarantee this is exactly what it's going to look like, but we'll see. Guild decks and the content it brings. Okay, yeah, this is a hot topic. I'll give my take on it before I read it to see if they're similar. I think that the one-sided deck changes never needed to happen if they just had enforced their TOS to begin with. I'll be honest. If they had just... The amount of toxic PvP that was occurring from the one-sided deck changes was reasonably high, but you could have just banned those people that were abusing the system without removing it. You have protection. You could have just said, okay, if you're under protection, you can't even be flagged on. You just can't be PvP. Okay, well, there you go. It can only be like 5 people in a guild anyway, so who gives a shit? Like, okay, well, that guy doesn't want to be PvP. Okay, so make the protection system useful, and also make it so that like the one-sided deck system actually works the way that it's supposed to, right? Guilds that don't want to be decked on can't be decked. Don't let people exploit the system like Shark Attack. You know what I mean? It's literally just that simple. But instead they chose to rip out one-sided decks altogether, which I said, again, totally fine, as long as you follow it up and make sure that PvP is going to be okay after the fact. Instead, what they did was they ripped out one-sided decks and then just nuked Karma into the ground. And now there's just no open world PvP at all. You just can't do anything. Nothing. Even if you want to. There's just nothing there. The removal of the one-sided decks in the name of reducing griefing had zero impact on it. I think that's wrong. I think it did have an impact on reducing griefing. It just also reduced all PvP. It punishes 99% of the player base. I agree. That used to be in the guild deck system because the 1% abused it. True.
Phantom 115 cheered Decs 100. Blur, it's so simple.
Yeah.
The crystal thing is easy. They already have a system like that. Just look at a skill and see the PvP only flags for effects. Just add that to crystal effects, and you can create PvE PvP hybrid crystals.
Yeah, when you Alt C, you flag. Like it turns it on. I don't know if I would agree with that necessarily, but like he's absolutely right. They punished 99% of players for what 1% was abusing, and they could have just enforced their TOS. Like, oh yeah, that's very clearly an abuse of the one-sided deck system. Instead, what we got was our CMGM team getting orders from Korea that say, yeah, well, technically that's in the game, so tough shit, Blue. We're going to give all the people hunting you value packs to encourage it in the future. That's what we used to get. Unless, of course, you were a Korean streamer, in which case you got help immediately. Oh, there it is. Boom, you're going to go. And the 1% just finds new ways to grief. Exactly. That's the problem. You have to enforce your TOS. Just enforce the TOS on the 1% of players, and the rest of the 99% don't have to suffer. Now they just grind over you, and there's nothing you can do about it but swap. At least in the past, you could throw up a war deck and fight them for spots for once for declaration came through and hope that you are stronger. I'll be honest, I don't even have people grind over me anymore. You can't have people grind over you if no one's playing the game. In my opinion, they could squash that too. Deckiest spots only drop loot for the person that popped the lantern. Done. Can't grind over shit anymore, right? They could do that too, but again, we're stepping kind of in the wrong direction here, right? You can make as many changes to the game as you want. They're just gonna keep finding new ways to grief your ass. Okay? I would know. I've been dealing with it for years. All right? Like, just ban them. It's not hard. You don't even have to permanently ban them. Just ban them for like a week. Ban them for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be permanent. Just slap them on the wrist. Make it so that they know, hey, you shouldn't be abusing our systems like that. Holy shit. Not everyone else has to suffer. I also think it's important to note that a lot of situations that started over 1v1 grind disputes would trickle upwards all the way up to siege. Two people would fight over a grind spot, one would win, and then the other would call a friend to gain an advantage. Then the other guy would call two friends. Then the first guy would call a few more. In Vertex, what we would do is we would put someone out there like me, who's like bait, right? I'm like that bottom bitch. It's like low-hanging, supple fruit, okay? And I would just go out, and then all the Vertex members were like, they're crouched in the bushes like the Viet Cong, just like, hold up, wait. And then one of the Black Rose members would come and gank me, and then one of the Vertex members would be like, happy to see you, but only one. He didn't want to go too hard. She'll zerg him away. They're like wounded wildebeest. You don't want to scare them. You gotta bring them in. Okay, so we just have one guy stand up and run out and start fighting. Like, oh shit, if we just bring two more people, we've got this shit. They bring two more people, three more guys stand up. How you doing? Okay, like, and you would escalate it. You would just escalate it until you got to a point where Black Rose has 80 people and Vertex has 80 people, and it was a complete clown fiesta. All right, like, that's how it was. Barcode did the same thing. I would finish streaming. This is when I used to maul when people would stream snipe me. Now I don't do that anymore. I have a different approach to it now. But like, Barcode literally told me, blue. Just let it happen. Just don't swap. All right, just let them come get you. All right, we got you. Trepex of all people. We're like, don't worry, Blue. We're coming, little Blue. We're coming, little brother. And they would just crouch and they would just wait in the bushes. And they would just sit there waiting for a crawling chaos member to do something stupid. And then they would just run them the down. Like, and then they'd be like, oh, we just bring one more person. And then that's how it would escalate. Like, I was used as bait in God knows how many guilds. I can still bait myself. If I swap to Arsha right now, I can summon 100 players. I demonstrated this a couple days ago. I said, just let me go around a couple times on Arsha, let it happen. And sure enough, here they all come. That's crazy, bro. God, I wish that my purpose in PvP guilds wasn't just sitting on a couch. But I do my part. In fairness, I do my part. I bring your guild more PvP than it ever had before just by existing in the guild. That's just how it is. At least that's how it used to work. Now there's nobody to fight anybody. I also think, like yesterday, guys, I went red on Arsha yesterday, and then I just swapped to a normal server with the bandit debuff, and I just said, come get it, pussies. And I just ran around in the desert and waited for somebody to find me, and then I fought until I died. And then I went to jail, and I got out of jail like a man. It was good content. Somehow I have more PvP content than anyone does now. Like, that's it. People are just hungry. Why is it Blue Squadron putting out like that, like open world PvP content? What year is it? What are we doing? What the is happening? Huh. At least in the past, you could throw up a war deck. Okay, we already read this. I also think it's important to note that a lot of situations that started over 1v1 grind disputes will always trickle upwards towards siege. Two people fight over a grind spot, one would win, they would call a friend to gain an advantage, then the other guy would call two friends, then the guy would call a few more, then back and forth would happen until one side conceded or until both guilds were now fighting each other in the open world. There would be words exchanged, and then they might hunt each other in node wars or even take a fight into siege. This would create content for everyone involved. Yep. The winners would feel a sense of accomplishment with their win, knowing that their practice and hard work to progress their gear had paid off. And then the loser would get motivated and work harder the next time this type of encounter happened. It would likely end in their favor. I know that Black Rose lived on this shit. Black Rose used to just sit there and get hunted by everybody. And their entire motivation for life. You might hate him. You might hate him. God, you might hate Black Rose, but you gotta respect the mental fortitude to sit there and grind while you were being run into the ground by every other guild. And they said, once I get my gear, then you'll see. Then you'll all see. And we did. And we did. And Snake did. These are the type of interactions that have been removed from the community, all in the name of trying to stop the 1% of players that actively try to grief. Removing the ability to feed people to mobs caused them to lose crystal was an amazing change. Yeah, the funny thing is, the only people that were upset about the feed people to mobs change was the 1%. You guys remember when that change came out? The comments on my videos and the people coming into my chat saying it's like end of days. I can't feed people to mobs and force them to lose crystals. I'm like, guys, this is a win. It's an amazing change. It wasn't just Goon, Johnny 5 and everyone was like, this sucks. I can't feed people anymore. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, what the that was a W change, bro. Nobody ever wants to stay around and fight if they're losing crystals. Also, the addition of the Marnie realm every other hour has allowed lower geared players to avoid these types of interactions. True. Perlivus announced in the most recent Idle Ball that they would be adding a guild tag system. This will allow guilds to choose their tag for their guild for different activities. With this addition coming in the future, I think it's time to bring back the old declaration system. Make it so that guilds need to tag themselves as a PvP guild in order to participate in PvP activities, such as node wars and siege, but once they do, they can be declared upon. If you are willing to contest nodes and castles for payout, then you will be willing to fight in the open world. Okay, here's the thing. What Pearl Abyss is going to counter with, and what the developers are going to counter that statement with, is we're trying to avoid bullying the T1 guilds if you're Cho Nation or you're digital. They don't want digital declaring war on nerds. Okay? They view that as bullying. And in fairness, there's a way to avoid this too. Okay? Assuming you fix the node war system so that people aren't dropping on T1s only, you can make it so that once you declare as a PvP guild, you can be decked on by everyone else that is in your cap of node wars. Whatever type of node wars that you're dropping on, every other guild in that type of node wars, they don't need your consent. They can just deck on you. Even one above or one below. You know what I mean? That way, if you have an uncapped guild like Digital, you can't deck a guild like Nerds. Right? Like, that's what they're going to be concerned about. That's why that's never going to happen. But if you meet me in the middle on it, that might happen. I would generally agree with you. Usually, you don't see Digi with Nerds. All right? It's just an example. But, like, you don't really see Cho decking on T1 guilds for long periods of time. Even if they talk mad amounts of shit, Cho knows that that's just a chihuahua and they like to bark. And just shut up. You don't know. You don't know what you want. Okay? Like, that's how it is. You really don't see that kind of bullying too much in the PvP scene. All right? You just don't see that too much. So, like, I would agree with Zethian that, like, if you declare for PvP, yeah, you should be able to be decked on. But you have to enforce your TOS. And you also have to change the protection system so that players in those guilds, if they're just like life skillers and they don't want to be involved in the GVG, but they want to, they still want to come to Node Wars and Siege and help out on defense or whatever, they can do that. Okay? You need to fix the protection system so that those players can't be PvP'd, but you also need to fix the protection system so that those players can't participate in PvP. If you're under protection, you should not be able to show up as a shy to a GVG and buff everyone. Okay? That's stupid. That is currently what the protection system is used for, because the developers are ill. Okay? They don't understand. The protection system is completely abused, like across the board, right? It should be used as a way to keep, like, if you don't want to open world PvP, road runs both ways. They can't gank you, but you also can't participate in helping gank other players. Okay? So, like, you can't help in open world PvP. All right? And I'll be honest with you, if you're under protection and you can't help with open world PvP, why the is the guild even keeping you? Okay? You better have a damn good reason for that guild to keep you. Like, you better be the shot caller or something, like me, right? Like, I wanted to be under protection, right? You better have a damn good reason for being in that guild, or they're just gonna kick you, right? But that's how the PvP system has always worked. Yet to kick one guild for free every once in a while. You're speaking the words of the heavens right now, Blue. Preach. I'm trying. You might not necessarily completely agree with what I'm saying. I completely agree with Zethian. I think that if you declare for PvP, you should be able to be one-sidedly decked. Period. Because the PvP scene really Like, you're gonna beef with people that are directly under you. Like, Soaked is probably gonna deck like Zerg because they know they can bully Zerg, right? Cho is gonna deck Digital, right? Cho doesn't give a about nerds. Okay, it just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work. At least not in our region anyway. In Korea, I think it's a lot different though, and that's why the developers hate it so much. In Korea, the Cho Nation guilds of Korea, they all do this. They just deck all the T1 guilds and they just shit on them all the time. And they crash their fights and they make sure that they're having the least amount of fun possible. That's how Korea has always handled their PvP scene, which is why the developers are cracking down so hard on it, which is why we see changes that we don't want to see. That's weird? No, that's standard. That's the Korean culture. Yeah. This also allows guilds to be more interested in life skilling and other activities and remain protected since they won't have the open world PvP designation for their guild. True. And give life skilling guilds rankings based on like their overall like rankings and stuff. You know what I mean? I will likely take time to add more as this goes on. This was just what flowed off the top of my head tonight. Thanks for the time it took to read it. Now I'm gonna go put my kids to bed. I'm just kidding. There's a TLDR. You made me read the whole thing. There's a TLDR at the bottom. What the fuck? Bro, you gotta put the bro, at least tell me that there's a TLDR. Like right here, TLDR at the bottom, right here. You made me read 11 pages and then put it down here. What are we doing? What the fuck? Dude doesn't know how to format for a shit. Can't even center his title. The same font. It's not bolded, not centered. Format's all wrong. Where's the header at? He's got the written by August 20th, 2024 by Zethian, though. That's cute. Guys, yeah. You guys can check out the Google Doc right here. Hopefully Zethian will allow me to post this as kind of like a react on my my channel. And if that's allowed, guys, comment down below what you think about Zethian's thoughts on the game. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you agree with my take on the game? Or do you think that I'm the idiot? Yeah. Okay, thanks, Zethian. Right on. Yeah, let us know what you think. Like, I don't think the Global Labs was definitely a step in the right direction. This doc focuses basically entirely on PvP. The Global Labs is a step in the right direction for like the PvE and like the global release aspects of the game. Getting global releases is a good thing. Nerfing Suckzerker is a good thing, right? Like it's looking better, right? We're turning the corner a little bit. Steps in the right direction. But PvP, I don't think it's turned the corner at all based on the Global Labs. The AOS uncapped feature looks good, but I don't think that it fixes the current issues with Node Wars and open world PvP, which is what everyone's complaining about. And then they gave like a one-liner that just said, we're still listening to your feedback. I don't feel like that was enough. I think that's a slap in the face.